Welcome to Echoes of Eternity, where timeless truth meets the longing soul. Let the journey begin. In the quiet depths of human existence, a fundamental question echoes through the ages. What is the true nature of life itself? Is it a journey of inherent suffering, a passage inevitably leading to nothingness? Or is it a profound odyssey culminating in authentic, vibrant abundance? This primal inquiry shapes every perception, every choice, and every aspiration. Across civilizations and eras, countless philosophical and spiritual traditions have grappled with this very query, attempting to articulate a coherent understanding of our brief sojourn on Earth. Among these myriad worldviews, some thinkers propose that, at their core, all major philosophies of life ultimately stem from two primary archetypes. One, they suggest, finds its origin in the teachings of Christ. The other, in a philosophy emphasizing liberation through detachment from worldly suffering. One prominent voice advocating this perspective was the celebrated historian and futurist, H.G. Wells. He observed that while life is singular in its essence, Christ and this other philosophical stream approached its very reality from distinctly different vantage points. Unsurprisingly, their journeys led them to profoundly divergent conclusions. Christ, it is contended, declared a resounding yes to life, embracing its every facet, while the philosophy emphasizing the cessation of suffering articulated a profound no. For numerous observers, the no perspective, a worldview often emphasizing the inherent suffering of existence and seeking liberation through the cessation of craving, appears to resonate more closely with observable reality. Consider the daily news, for instance. A moment spent with the headlines, or a brief viewing of televised reports, reveals a relentless panorama of human anguish. Do these dispatches from the world primarily dampen the spirit or uplift the heart? Which depiction feels more accurate? Is life predominantly an experience of misery, or could it truly be described as heaven? It is an intriguing, even startling thought that even certain passages within the sacred scriptures of the Bible seem to echo a similar conclusion. One need only turn to the book of Ecclesiastes, for example, to encounter a stark and unsettling observation. The preacher, in a moment of profound despair and critical reflection, declares, "Again, I saw all the oppressions that are practiced under the sun, and behold, the tears of the oppressed, with none to comfort them. On the side of their oppressors there was power, and there was no one to comfort them. So I considered the dead who are already dead more fortunate than the living who are still alive." Ecclesiastes 4:1-2. This lament is truly astonishing. The dead more fortunate than the living? Does this not elicit a gasp of disbelief? Yet, after the initial shock subsides, and one contemplates this perspective with a quieter mind, a disconcerting thought often emerges. Could it be true? Is it not the case that the dead are spared from witnessing further shame, further sorrow, further pain? The cessation of existence might, from this perspective, appear as a merciful escape from a relentless cycle of suffering and injustice. The weight of the world, its endless cycles of cruelty and despair, suggests that the ultimate freedom is indeed an absence of being, a final peace found only beyond the veil of life. This profound weariness, this sense of futility, finds a deep resonance in the human soul that has endured prolonged suffering. Furthermore, it seems that the very laws of nature, the undeniable progression of the physical world also lend greater credence to the no viewpoint than to the yes. Youth invariably yields to old age. What was once robust and healthy inexorably becomes fragile and frail, brittle and vulnerable. And what is the ultimate destination of this universal trajectory? Death, oblivion. Life, from this purely naturalistic standpoint, appears to be nothing more than a transient process marching inevitably towards its final cessation. The blossoming flower wilts, the mighty tree eventually falls, the vibrant flame flickers and dies. Existence, then, becomes merely a brief interval, a fleeting moment before the return to dust, to non-being, to the great silence that precedes and follows all things. The very act of living in this context is simply the process of dying, a slow but certain dissolution into the void. Yet, in stark and radical contrast, stands the perspective of Jesus Christ. His worldview diametrically opposes this path of resignation and eventual annihilation. According to his teachings, it is precisely death itself that constitutes merely a part of the necessary process one must traverse in order to enter into true life, life in its most authentic and profound sense. Thus, it is life that is the ultimate destination, not death. The very core of his message reverses the conventional understanding of existence and non-existence. He illustrates this profound paradox with a timeless analogy. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. Whoever loves his life loses it, and whoever hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life. John 12:24-25. This is a profound spiritual truth. The death of the grain of wheat is not an ending, but a transformation, a prerequisite for abundant new life. So too, the dying to self in the Christian journey is not a surrender to nihilism, but an essential step toward a life of boundless fulfillment. It is a spiritual dying, a letting go of earthly attachments, self-centered desires, and worldly ambitions in order that a higher eternal life may flourish within. This profound paradox challenges the very instincts of human self-preservation and the conventional pursuit of happiness. Jesus did not deny the stark reality of death. On the contrary, he knew it intimately. He entered into its very embrace, experiencing its sting firsthand. Yet, even in the face of this ultimate human adversary, he unequivocally refused to view death as a power that held the final word over humanity, or as an insurmountable force that could not be vanquished by anyone. Absolutely not. He confronted it directly, and he definitively overcame it. His resurrection stands as the ultimate testament to this triumph, shattering the chains of mortality and redefining the very meaning of life and death for all who believe. Therefore, the message he proclaimed was not one of emptiness, but of profound fullness, not of death, but of life. Indeed, he is the very essence of life itself. He did not merely point the way to life, he embodied it. I am the way and the truth and the life. John 14:6. This declaration is not merely a philosophical statement. It is a profound claim to his divine nature as the source and sustenance of all true existence. His mission was not to lead humanity into an austere existence of ascetic renunciation, but into an overflowing, vibrant reality. As he himself proclaimed, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. John 10:10. This abundant life is not merely extended years. It is a life rich in purpose, overflowing with peace, saturated with joy and imbued with eternal significance, even amidst earthly trials. It is a life lived in fellowship with the divine, experiencing a fullness that the world cannot give or take away. So, how then does one reconcile these starkly contrasting worldviews? The answer, ultimately, points to an inescapable reality. There is no middle ground. There is no fence to sit upon indefinitely. One must ultimately choose. But if one genuinely seeks a life of victory, a life transcending the cycle of suffering and mortality, a life imbued with profound purpose and eternal hope, then the path becomes clear. The choice becomes evident. One understands unequivocally whom to choose. One knows which path to follow. This choice, naturally, comes with its profound consequences and responsibilities. It calls for commitment, for surrender, and for a willingness to embrace a new way of seeing and being. It is a choice that transforms not only one's destination, but the very journey itself, from despair to divine purpose, from fleeting existence to eternal abundance. Join us on Echoes of Eternity as we continue to explore the profound truths that shape our understanding of life, faith, and the eternal. If this reflection has resonated with your spirit, please consider giving this video a like. Share it with anyone who might find solace or inspiration in this message. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel to ensure you don't miss future explorations into the wisdom that echoes from eternity. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.